Now that we know a little bit more about what will be different when lawmakers return to the Roundhouse, let's get some reaction from our Line Opinion panelists. This week I'm joined virtually by Kathy McGill. She is founder and CEO of the New Mexico Black Leadership Council. Attorney and Line regular Sophie Martin is with us, and former State House Minority Whip Daniel Foley joins us once again. So first off, guys, we get some clarification from Mr. Nordstrom on those boosters I asked him about. As of now, they are not a factor in declaring someone fully vaccinated, at least in this context. So Sophie, with all this in mind, are these prudent precautions, and how important is this once again to allow people into the Capitol to watch our public servants work?
You know, there was never going to be a perfect solution here. I mean, COVID just doesn't allow for that, right? But it seems to me that leadership has come up with a compromise that will allow people to come in through Zoom, will allow people who are vaccinated to come in person. It's unfortunate that there'll be the loss of the cultural displays and things like that, but you know, this is the reality we're dealing with right now. One of the things that I thought was really notable, and I watch for this, I know a lot of people who deal with, like, you know, events and the public and things like that sort of careful, well, today it's this kind of vaccine, that sort of thinking, but it could be that by the time we get to the legislative session that a third dose will be required. We're certainly hearing that on both the national and local levels. And so, I mean, I do see organizations saying we're just going to follow what's in place then, and fully vaccinated is the term that folks are using.
Good points there. Dan, I want to get your take on this. You know, he just mentioned, and others have, this is potentially the most transparent session we have had to date in New Mexico, given it will be open to the public in person, as we just talked about, and virtually as well. Do you agree, Dan? And if so, how valuable is that for citizens? I mean, there's a lot of tough talk out there from some Republicans still saying this is a game to keep the public from getting this kind of information.
Yeah, I mean, Gene, I appreciate you know, giving up the mantra of it's the most transparent legislative session ever. I mean, I don't know how it's any more transparent than it was when everybody could come and go as they pleased. It just seems surprising. I mean, they've been doing the live streaming for a few years now, and you could come and go. Listen, you know, this is a typical. You know, you look at this stuff where we are with the increased numbers of COVID in New Mexico, the fact that we've been in some sort of hyper pole when it comes to, you know, isolating ourselves, locking things down, social distancing, getting the shots, and we're still having these huge numbers. You know, it does beg the question, and I think it's a valid question. You know, if you were to say, you know, as we've had this conversation on this show before about the guns in the Capitol, and we've always said, hey, listen, you know, the thought of people having guns in the Capitol really prevents other people from stating how they feel and their thoughts. And so that's a legitimate conversation. There's no doubt that this is clearly, when you start putting in policies like this, and we all know that none of the stuff we're talking about, whether it's shots, whether it's masks, prevents you from spreading COVID. It's just to keep you from dying if you get it. It does nothing to keep me from giving it to somebody else. So it's an individual choice that people make. I've chosen to make.
Nothing might be a little
Dr.
strong
Foley
there.
In the house.
I mean,
yeah,
you know,
really.
There's nothing. There's not anybody out there that says there's not anything that says mask, get a shot, and you will not spread the disease. There's nothing that says that. If any of you guys want to say that,
no, but there's research that there is a decrease in spread, that people who have been fully vaccinated, it's a lot less likely that they'll spread. And so that's what they're working on.
There's been no doubt that there's been some conversations on both sides when it comes to that, but there's nobody out there saying that you should do this. So everything we're talking about is about me taking precautions for myself. But now we're going to impose these precautions on folks before they can attend these hearings. Just coincidentally coincides with redistricting. And, you know, it's clearly a shot. I think the Republican leadership is right. It's clearly a shot at limiting, you know, the people who we know are part of the.
What's being limited, Dan? I'm curious in your mind.
If you're not vaccinated, you can't come. And there's
you can still watch. You can still watch.
There's definitely. Yeah. Oh, of course.
Hey, I'm sorry. I just have to say, look.
Just sit over there, Gene, and watch in the back corner, because we know how every time they do the Zoom meetings, they work so well. They don't kick people off. People have been unable to log on. There's nothing like showing up in person. And so, again, I just say, look, I don't go.
Hang on, let me get Kathy in here. Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm going to finish my thought for a minute.
But hold on one second, Dan. I
I
think
don't
that
go.
what you're
I don't
saying
go to
is
the
not.
meetings, but
Daniel,
what I
can
do
you hold
know
up? Daniel,
is that
hang on a
there's
sec, Dan.
everything that's here,
And
the stuff
then-
that they're doing here is 100% to affect a certain segment of the voting population, and I just think that that's their goal.
So I think that there's this core thesis that, this is about politics, but I think that it's about public safety and public health. And that's clear. None of us on this call are doctors. And we can't make those equivocal statements that has just been made. Like we had, someone saying it's not a COVID driven policy. It was if it was, the clear evidence of vaccinated individuals' ability to spread the virus would negate the reasoning for the rule. That is like, there's so many things wrong with that statement. It's not about politics. It's about public safety and public health. And I think that as long as we continue to try to promote that narrative, it's just about that core thesis that you have, that Democrats are out to, keep people from coming, when what we know is, and I can prove it by me, it's like, it's hard for me to get up to the session. But this past year, in the past session, even though it's been available for a long time, it wasn't really publicized. I was able to monitor a lot of things that I couldn't have monitored before. It has increased access to the information to the citizenry. And that is the truth. We can prove it by the numbers. And so saying these other things just is flat out not true.
Yeah, it's 100% false. As you just said, it's there, but you didn't know about it. Means it's there. It's been there, and
It wasn't
the fact that you tell
publicized.
people that they can't.
All right, guys,
come
I got
to
a couple more.
Capitol,
I got a couple more
so
questions
more
here.
folks are going to be watching it online.
Daniel,
I mean, this
Daniel,
is purely a partisan conversation.
Daniel, come on now. Let's. We got a lot of stuff to cover here. Sophie, let's go to firearms in the Roundhouse.
Sure.
The first session where guns are banned from inside the Roundhouse. This will mean checks for everyone entering the building, of course. Your sense of that in how that's going to work on the ground, as they say.
Actually, Dan touched on this a moment ago, and I thought he brought up what was an important element, which is that firearms can have a chilling effect on free speech and public speech, and they are also, it can be a threat to the people who are there in the Roundhouse. So, this seems entirely logical to me. New Mexico is not the first to have done something like this and to have put this in place, and. I just would really question the person who thinks, oh, I absolutely must be able to be armed in the Roundhouse when there is security on the outside, to prevent all firearms from coming in. I would question the motivations of that person. So I think that this is a rational step, and I think it does serve to to alleviate that potential chilling effect.
Kathy, your thoughts on this too? I've said it on this show a lot. People have a right to their fear. They have a right. They have a right to it. And people who want to intimidate people for no good reason outside of politics, you got to do something. Your sense of it?
I think it's a rational step, and as for me personally, I support it fully. And I don't think that there's a reason why people need to have their guns with them in a hearing.
Daniel, your thoughts on guns in the Roundhouse? What does it do to ban them, in your view?
I mean, it's just another grab. I mean, there's we've had no problems with guns. 10 years that I was there, there's been no hostage taking, shooting, lockdowns. There's police everywhere, and it's just we keep what we've done, and we continue to do. We've done it since we became a country. We constantly give up rights and civil liberties all under the auspices of safety. And at the end of the day, we never get those rights and civil liberties back, right? We always are like, oh, we're never that much safer. And it always seems to be, a good way to appease individuals.
Hey, so as we wait to see what's going to be on the agenda for lawmakers, we know redistricting, Dan brought up earlier, is front and center. We've talked about the different maps here on New Mexico in Focus, but will lawmakers seriously consider the guidance from the independent committee, or should we expect politics to take over, as I asked Mr. Nordstrom?
Well, the latter, right? The latter. But I do hope, and that and I hold out some optimism some amount of optimism that the legislature will look really carefully at the work that this group has done. Certainly, it's been impressive to see their outreach throughout the state. No process like this is ever perfect, but as I think I've said here before, I have a lot of confidence in the folks who have been leading this program, former Supreme Court Justice Chavez, et cetera. I think it will be. I think it'll be a vigorous debate, and there are certainly a lot of entrenched interests. Nobody wants to lose their seat, and so now it comes back to the people whom this will affect, their power, their livelihoods, et cetera. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no question there. Kathy, same question there. It's interesting when you think about, how we approach these things. Why is it so different this time around? Have we not done a good job of making sure the public's going to be covered here?
I think that what we see from my vantage, the New Mexico Black Voters Collaborative and New Mexico Black Central Organizing Committee, for the first time, really in the state's history, had some testimony in the redistricting process. And if we keep peeling back the layers, what this is really about is having accurate counts in the census, and how we don't really have that. And it equates to the lack of representation. So we have to keep going back. This is why I keep, wanting people to get educated about what happened in 2020 with the census is going to affect us for the next 10 years. And we actually this time have had an opportunity to weigh in on the process and talk about, communities of concern and where we are located, and trying to get, accurate representation and an accurate count. So I think that the reason why it's different is because it needs to be different, and people are trying to expand the public's ability to have some input in this process.
Dan, real quick, we're under a minute, actually under 30 seconds. I got to get your take on this for sure. Is it just going to be politicized in whatever happened in the redistricting?
The most political thing you do in politics. I mean, right. Sophie's right. Are they going to look at it? Oh, they're going to look at it, but they're all working on the deal that's going to be best to serve them. To say we're going to take partisan politics out of redistricting, regardless of what party you're in, it is the most partisan political thing. And I just think people in New Mexico and across the country need to realize elections have consequences. And now's not the time to say, oh, the Democrats are going to get more seats. They are. They won. They've got the votes. If you don't want that to happen, you should have voted over the last few years. So it's the most partisan political deal, regardless of party. I'm not blaming New Mexico Democrats. It's as partisan and political in Texas as it is here. And it's just interesting when you hear people on the outside, not Sophie, she knows, Kathy, you guys know, but when you hear stuff about like, oh, we want this to be a nonpartisan deal, these guys are in the back saving each other's hide, figuring out who they want to serve up, what districts they want to draw, what best represents the party elitist and the party faithful of both sides. And that's the plan they're going to come up with.
Gotcha. We'll, of course, be tracking all the developments from the Roundhouse when the special session starts. You can watch my full discussion with the Senate Majority, with the Senate Majority's Chris Nordstrom on Facebook and YouTube for a bit more insight on that redistricting process.